it was also in this context that the Prime Minister suggested to senior civil servants and advisers that he wanted to be injected with COVID-19 on television to demonstrate to the public that it did not pose a threat. And then you say that you appreciate on reflection that those were unhelpful comments, but they were made at a time of high stress and limited understanding of what lay ahead. Of course, you weren't able to know, neither was Mr. Johnson, everything that would develop over the following weeks and months, Lord Lister. But I just want to take you back to what you tell us that Mr. Johnson said, that he wanted to be injected with COVID-19 to demonstrate to the public that it didn't pose a threat. It did pose a threat, didn't it?
I've got to go back again. It was not a. We were. I'm a little bit uncertain of timings of some of these things, but it was before the Italian situation had really become apparent to everybody. It was the time when COVID was not seen as being the serious disease it subsequently became, or was seen to be. It was a moment in time. I think it was an unfortunate comment, but I think when you take it in the context, out of context like now, and in the timing, it was just an unfortunate comment.
Well, I understand that's what how you regard it, Lord Lister, but I do want to press you a little. Do you think then that it wasn't necessarily made at the same time as the chickenpox parties comment?
I really am not sure. I cannot answer that question.
No. Well, even if it had been made sometime earlier, it had been known for many weeks by that stage, or it was known for many weeks before then, that COVID was a disease which would kill many of the people who caught it. So surely the Prime Minister wouldn't want to be telling the British public that it didn't pose a threat.
But I come back to, if I may, in answer to your question, this is not that dissimilar to the situation we'd had with things like SARS, where it had been a killer disease, but it had been a disease which had not transmitted itself to Europe. We had not reached us. And we were still living in the forlorn hope, as it turned out, that it wasn't going to come. That obviously was wrong.
There is a difference, but I mean, I don't think anyone injected themselves live on television with SARS, Lord Lister, nor would they have been well advised to do so.
I fully accept it's a comment that shouldn't have been made, but it was made at the heat of a moment. That's all.
Do you think, whenever he made this comment, and obviously this is something we can ask him, but you've raised this, so I'd like your own view about this. Do you think that Mr. Johnson did actually think not only that the country was well equipped to deal with the disease and that there were systems and plans in place, but that actually even more fundamentally, it wasn't really a dangerous disease at all?
I do underline the point I made earlier. I'm not sure of the timing of these things, but my memory is that at that stage, it was not seen as the disease, the seriousness that it became apparent later on. We're right at the beginning of this. It hadn't really hit Europe. It was still very, very new.